We use linear models to make functions based on data given to us. This data is typically given us in the form of a word problem. Just make sure that when it comes to word problems that you read it very carefully. And that means if you have to read it multiple times, then that's just the way it works. Just take your time. So for this question, in the North Chicago area, an 820 square foot apartment rents for $1,507 a month. A 970 square foot apartment rents for $1,660 a month. Suppose that the relation between the area and the rent is linear. All right, sounds good. First, we're going to find a linear function that relates the rent of the North Chicago apartment to its area, treating area as the independent. So all that means is that the area is the independent variable, and independent is typically your x value. So area is x. So let's go with what we know. We have an 820 square foot apartment for $1,507, and then we have a 970 square foot apartment for $1,660. So we have these two numbers that are paired with each other, 820 and 1,507, and 970 and 1,660. So we can actually say that these are our ordered pairs. 820, 1,507, and we can say that 970 and 1,660 are the other ordered pair. Now we got to find a linear function. So that means we got to find a linear equation to write. And you can only write a linear equation if you have a point and a slope. Well, we have 2 points, which we can choose from later, but we need to find a slope. So we're going to use our slope formula and use these 2 points to find the slope. So our slope m is going to be equal to 1,660 minus 1,507 divided by 970 minus 820. And when we put that into our calculator, let it work it out, we're going to get 1.02 as our slope. Now, we have our slope, m, and we need a point. It doesn't matter which point you use. Both are going to give you the exact same answer, so choose the one you think is easiest. And I personally think that the first order pair is the easiest. So now I'm going to take both of these and plug into my point slope formula. So y minus 1,507 equals 1.02 x minus 820. Going to distribute the 1.02 across. I'm going to get y minus 1,507 equals 1.02x right there minus 836.4. Now I'm going to add the 1,507 over. So I'm going to get y equals 1.02x plus 670.6. Now this says find a linear function, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change it from y equals to f of x using function notation. And you can use whatever letter you want. We're using rent, so actually it might even be better to change it from f of x to r of x, dealing with rent. Whatever letter you want to use, if it's not asked of you, choose whatever letter you want you think would make sense to you. Now we're going to predict the rent of a 900 square foot apartment in North Chicago. So that means, again, the area is our x value. So x is going to equal 900. So I'm going to plug this into our formula up here. So r of 900 is going to equal 1.02 times 900 plus 670.6. And then when I plug it into my calculator, I get back 1,588.6. So the rent will be $1,588.60. Now it's saying interpret the slope. And when they say interpret the slope, it just means, what does the slope mean in context to the question? Well, M is 1.02, and since we're dealing with money, we can say that this is $1.02. And so interpreting it as the square footage increases, it increases by 1.02 per square foot. So we can say the rent increases by $1.02 per square foot. Or something like that. How you word it can be maybe a little different, so long as you convey the same information. That's all that really matters. Last, if a rent of a North Chicago apartment is $1,300 a month, how big would you expect it to be? So what would the square footage be? So we have 1,300, which is going to be our y value, or our r of x value. So we're just going to set our equation r of x equal to 1,300. So we're going to get 1,300 equals 1.02x plus 670.6. Subtract the 670 over, we're going to get 629.4 equals 1.02x. And then we're going to divide 1.02 over, and we're going to get 617.1 equals x. So how big would it be? 617.1 square feet.